Hi, my name's Dylan. My wheelchair allows me to live my life boldly and unapologetically. So wheelchairs are viewed as a tool really to enhance my life. They allow you to live your life on your own terms. They allow you to complete challenges that you want to complete that maybe you couldn't have completed without that wheelchair. They allow you to do impossible challenges that you may not even think could be done. For example, like Maxwell's no bounds Snowdon climb. Who would have thought that a guy in an electric wheelchair would be able to get to the top of Snowdon? It's an incredible feat that would not be possible without wheelchairs and without the positive outlook of wheelchairs. Maxwell's chair is not seen as a symbol of weakness, it's seen as a symbol of strength. It allowed him to climb Snowdon, it allowed him to complete unthinkable tasks that, a normal person in a wheelchair would think, my wheelchair is not possible doing that. That chair allowed Maxwell to live his life how he wanted to live it, to move without limits. My wheelchair, I think, boosts my confidence. It enhances my life and it enhances my it boosts my confidence really. That's the main thing. I am a different person because of this wheelchair. It allows me to really, my wheelchair embodies me as a person. It's an extension of me. It's just a mere tool that I use to get through life. Like I say, it's an extension of me that I want to represent the way I feel about things. It's bold. My chair looks bold. I get stopped in the street and asked about my chair, and I'm trying to change the perception of wheelchairs, not to be pitied, but to be seen as just positive enablers, really. My wheelchair is not something to hide, it's something to celebrate, quite simply. It's a part of my story, a part of my journey, and I wouldn't want to hide that aspect of my life. It is a part of me that I'm proud of, I'm not ashamed of it. I embrace my wheelchair and I embrace using a wheelchair. I'm not fearful that people may view me differently. I'm not fearful that I may get less opportunities. My wheelchair is a part of my life and I embrace that. I'm not ashamed of that. The key thing with perceptions for wheelchairs is that I think for too long they're seen as symbols of weakness, and again, wheelchairs are seen to be pitied, and that's just not at all what they are. They enhance people's lives, they don't make their lives worse. As somebody that went from walking to not walking, it was a difficult thing in itself. However, I know that having this wheelchair that is bold, that is a positive example of a wheelchair, it helped me. The correct wheelchairs and the correct way of thinking about disability and wheelchairs is having a chair that represents your true self, your true aspirations and the journey you want to take your life on. When Barbie and Lego use wheelchairs or mobility aids in their toy lineups, it allows people very early on to learn that wheelchairs are a part of everyday life, really, and that is positive representation. It encourages and celebrates the way people live and celebrates differences, to really allow kids to basically be curious about wheelchairs and be curious about disabilities. And in the same way that if I saw a child staring, I wouldn't want them to feel like they couldn't ask many questions. I'd much prefer they be curious. But with that, be curious and don't be judgmental. I'd like people to see my wheelchair and see me within my wheelchair, but my wheelchair itself to provoke a conversation, to be a conversation starter, and to talk about the potential good sides of wheelchairs. For too long, wheelchairs have been pitied and seem as symbols of weakness and limitation, when it's actually the opposite. Wheelchairs enhance people's lives. It certainly enhanced my life. Without my wheelchair that I'm currently sat in at the moment, my previous wheelchair was a bit like oh, that's a wheelchair, whereas now this wheelchair is, wow, that wheelchair is incredible, that's amazing. And it's something really that I'm not ashamed of my wheelchair. I take immense pride in my wheelchair. My wheelchair just enables me to live how I want to live, and without it I couldn't live the life that I want to live. Wheelchairs are powerful items. They're not anything that defines me, they're not anything that I live my life by. I chose my wheelchair and I've modified my wheelchair to be an extension of myself. It is bold and unapologetically confident. It is a chair that people will look at and go, wow, that's a wheelchair, that's amazing. You know, I get stopped in the streets and spoke to about my wheelchair, and that's one thing that I quite like. People don't see my wheelchair as something to be pitied and something to be downplayed. It's actually something that I really, you know, I see it as it is a part of my life. There's no point in me trying to get away from my wheelchair. I'm not ashamed of it, I'm not scared of it. My wheelchair is, I couldn't live without my wheelchair.